Happy Friday. What's going on? I'm about 20, 30 seconds late, but we're doing the best we can. So here we are. Put my mic on. How's everybody doing this Friday? All right. Who do we got in here? Joe, thanks. What's going on? One, go Oilers. I heard they lost the other day. Are you guys up against it right now or something? Let's start this party. Who's in here? Sound off.
It hasn't started on mine yet.
I don't understand that, hon. I'll wait.
Is it playing on the computer?
Mm-hmm.
It says waiting for BW's garage.
Yeah, it's got a commercial on the computer, so I don't know what's going on.
There it is.
There it is. It was taking a minute to get going. How you doing, Andy? What's going on, man? Torp, what's happening? Kevin L, what's going on, man? My arms feel like they're gonna fall off. I've been sanding all day. My body work ain't the best, but we're getting there. Everybody, let's start this party off right and take a sip. Hey, Randy Ryan, what's going on? Happy Friday, man. You all right over there, hon?
Yeah.
Kim's not going to talk much. She's got a throat problem going on today. I don't know. Sounds like she's coming down with something. You guys can see we've been going after the 55 pretty hard all day. I took off from work today to try to get
Paul White.
Hey, Paul White, to try to get some stuff done. I didn't make it nearly as far as I wanted to, but I got as far as I could. So that's where we're at. We got the scenes sealed up in the back. You guys saw that video. And I did quite a bit of body work around that area. But, I mean, it's not perfect. It'll definitely need more. But tomorrow I'm going to put it in epoxy. And I'm going to mix it for sealer. I think that's the right thing to do for right now. Just seal it. So it's going to need more body work attention. The quarters are fine. I just sanded at the protective coating. I looked it up. They said you could just paint right over that. So I just etched it with 180, and I'm just going to put an epoxy sealer on there for right now. It's primer, but I'm going to mix it for sealer.
Hey, big job. Hey, Kenny. Tarlo, I haven't seen any videos from you lately.
Big job, Ford. What's going on, Ron? I meant to text you back the other day as you and one, but I was like I was in the middle of doing stuff, and then I'm like I'll text them guys in a little bit, and I just never did. So I guess I'm sorry, but I forgot.
Henry, we've been worried about you, Henry.
Henry, we've been worried. I'm glad to see you're back. Kenny, what's going on?
I don't know what happened.
Paul White.
Randy, my voice just started going out.
Who else? Did I miss anybody else, hon?
That'll make some people happy.
I'm glad Henry's back. Let's all have a sip. I should have wrote the numbers down the last couple of weeks, Henry, but I didn't. We'll have to go back and look. I can tell you who won.
Hey, Robbie.
David won last week,
I figured it was
Robbie
your work,
Altree.
Tarlo.
That's what I told Kim that, Andy. I told her that sometimes your job takes you away for a while. It's like you can tell when you're home because you'll start putting out videos and shorts, and then all of a sudden everything stops. It's like, oh, Andy's away at work.
He must be an international spy or something.
He's an international spy.
I got something going on, Robbie. I don't know what's going on.
She woke up like that. She had a hoarse throat. You haven't even been out of the house, have you, Kim?
No.
She hasn't even been out of the house to get sick. And I'm not sick, so I didn't bring her any illnesses home. We haven't had any
Thanks,
company
Robbie.
either. Danny was here last Sunday, but that was a week ago. He wasn't sick either.
What's the matter, baby?
Have a sip. Mm.
Thanks, Kevin. It's just my throat. Just, I don't know.
I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail, but that's what the 55 looks like right now. it's all sanded at. And it still needs body work. That's why I'm just going to put it in. I have a epoxy primer, but I'm going to mix it for sealer. The only reducer I got is 60. So I mean, and that's for 60 degrees, but it's all I got. So I think that's the lowest.
Thanks, Kenny.
So I think we'll be all right.
Final color for the 55 is polka dot right now.
It's going to be hot rod black. I mean, well, it should be. We can really decide. I'm painting the quarters and the roof and the deck lid tomorrow, and I'm only putting them in sealer, epoxy sealer. But I saw, like a couple weeks ago, I saw a little bit of like surface rust forming around the seams in the back. So that's what made me decide I got to do it quick. I mean, it wasn't rotting out or anything, but I saw a little surface rust, and I'm like, well, I better get it at least in epoxy sealer. So that's what we're gonna do. I mean,
Two Babe has wedding season started. Wedding season started for Two Babe. He's at a rehearsal dinner. Hey, Chaz.
Who has a rehearsal dinner, hon?
Two Babe.
Two Babe Jenkins. I hope you have a great weekend, man. Enjoy your meal. Yo, what's going on, Chaz? Yeah, so I don't know how, but I'm going to find a way to get that car put back together before Sunday morning and cleaned. That's going to be the biggest thing, getting it cleaned. I mean,
pretty much, Robbie. That's what itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini.
That's what I figured, Kevin. It's like I was going to order some 70 and 80, but I mean the 60's all I have right now, and I'm thinking it's not going to be too hot tomorrow, and I'll try to do it earlier or later in the day so that it's not too bad. Yeah, my luck, it's the low's 60 tomorrow, the high's 84. So I'll pull the car out and try to get it masked up and ready for paint early. That way I can let it sit all day and harden up. And then I can put the tail lights and the bumper back on and clean. I mean, it's going to be, if I got curtains tomorrow, it doesn't matter. It's just, I gotta get it in the sealer. I'm not doing the doors yet, and I'm not doing the tilt nose yet because I got to sand the tilt nose back down. I made a mistake with that. I should have put the epoxy primer on that before I put the high build. But the high build I had bought, it said direct to metal, so it's probably all right. I may just cut it a little bit with the paper and do that later with the doors because I got to fix that passenger door I screwed up. So I'm just thinking, let's get the quarters, the deck lid too. It's going to need to be. I think I'm going to in the fall or the early winter. I'm pulling that off. I'm going to get it media blasted because it's got rust on the inside, and then whenever I was sanding it, there's like surface. It's not. I guess it's rust. It's the guy that painted it before me put primer right to bare metal, and you know how that gets underneath there. You can start to see it lifting through. But we'll get it in sealer for right now, and we'll worry about it in the fall winter time when we're not using it. For its little hibernation. We'll get that done. There's some big dings in that too. Whenever I was sanding at it, there's a couple spots that have a good amount of filler on there, and I just skimmed it back over with a little bit of filler once I found it for now. But I don't know why he didn't just take the lock mechanism out and tap out what was going on there. So I'm gonna look and see.
Hey, Mark.
Whenever winter time comes, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Might even treat myself to a new deck lid at some point.
Uh-oh, the puck dropped. Puck dropped.
Hmm?
The puck dropped. Puck dropped. You don't
What's
like
that?
hockey. I can't believe you don't like hockey and you're from Pittsburgh.
What's going on, Mark? How you doing? My week wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. I got to admit, I we were off Monday, obviously for the holiday, and I called out today,
Hey,
and I took a
Don.
vacation day Monday, so it's like I'm getting an extra long weekend. I never call out of work, so I'm like, last night I was working on the car, and I'm like, there's no way I'll have this car ready for Sunday if I go to work tomorrow. So I was like, I'm going to call out and I'll work, and I did too. I went out. What did you? Did I go out like 8 o'clock this morning? Whenever you went to work, and I
Yeah.
stayed on it all day. Hey Don, what's going on? Unfortunately, I did not video. Tomorrow morning I'll video. I mean, all, I was just sanding. I mean, and re-adding filler and taking filler in and taking it out, taking it, putting it in, taking it out. So I was like, there's nothing to really show anybody. But tomorrow before we uh, put the primer on, I'll tape a little bit, and then we'll put something together. Let you guys get a real good look at it before I put the sealer on there. I just hope the quarter isn't lumpy whenever I put it on, because it's brand new metal, and I sanded at that really good. For each quarter, I spent over an hour, and I broke that coating they have on there, but getting it down to bare metal is just about impossible unless you start off with, I guess, an 80 grit. But I just did it with 180, and I pulled up a thing. It's that coating. They say you could paint right over it, or primer right over it, but whatever. We'll find out. Like I said, no matter what happens tomorrow, it's not the end of the world. It's it's still going to get body work and painted at some point after. It's not fun, Kenny. It's I don't mind it whenever I'm just relaxing, but it's like I'm not very good at it. And around them 55 tail lights, there's so many different transitions. It's like the top goes this way, then it curves in to the trunk like this, and then up around, and then under the bottom it's cupped. And trying to just sand at it and not get any grooves with the sandpaper, and finding the right tool to use. It's a lot. Plus, it didn't help. Like I probably shouldn't have, hindsight 2020, because it only gave me a little more than a 16th. But I cut a wafer wheel, and I hit the at the bottom of that, and I hit the metal down, and then welded it back shut. And it's okay. It's just it didn't give me what I really wanted. So I probably would have been better off leaving it and just building up the top. But
I like that one. A Pennsylvania paint job.
that's exactly what it's going to be then. One, a Pennsylvania paint job, and it's just going to be a sealer for right now.
The end of the world as we know it. I'm not a big REM fan though, Robbie.
I guess I haven't. What is that? Is that a 5 inch? I think I have a 5 inch orbital, and that's what I was using all day today, and by hand. I like my big long block. So I think it's okay. Like I said, there's not any body work on the quarters, other than where I cut that line for. I painted last year. I painted the windows so that I can tape up and I could put the glass in. And there was a paint line the whole way around, and I broke the paint line with the sander. So hopefully I broke it enough. But like I said, if I didn't, it's not the end of the world. We'll be able to see what we got to do and build it up and all that. That's why we're just putting a sealer on it for now. Blackberry smoke.
Hey, Chris Ellis.
Yo, Chris, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. It's on to the next thing. Like I say, I'll put a little video of it out. I did do that a little bit, Don, and I mean I seen people use like cheese graters and stuff. So I'd take my pocket knife and get the real heavy stuff, and I would whittle at it, and then I would hit it like you said with the. I didn't have any 80. I had 100. But I had I did have 80 for my sander, so I ended up using a couple pieces of that, and it does break it, and then 180'd it in like you said. We'll see how it looks in black tomorrow. I know there's a couple spots that I'm gonna have to, redo, no big deal, but you know, it once I get it sealed, we'll be able to see what I have to do. So that'll probably end up helping. But we just want to get it in the sealer so we can go to the show on Sunday for now. We got our first deadline. But however far I get tomorrow, the tail lights are going in. Even if I have to get up on like five or 6 o'clock in the morning, go out there and just quietly put my car back together. That's what I'll do.
Oh, he was filling in the dead air.
Huh?
Chooch was filling in the dead air.
He sure did.
He's over here flinging the
That's
blanket.
right, Kenny. Let's have a sip.
He's over here flinging the blanket around.
Like you say, you did body work all those years, so my arms feel like they're going to fall off. I was out there at 8 o'clock this morning, and I came in at like 6:30 at night. I added a little bit of a resin too. That's the first time I ever did that, and I got to get better at the ratio of hardener to the bondo, or everybody calls it bondo, the putty or whatever. I have to get better at that. I mean, a couple of the things set up way too fast. So I know I was using a little bit too much. It could have also been that I was working in direct sunlight, so I wasn't. That was cutting down on the time. Then it got a little bit better when I started adding a little bit of the resin in there, and it really got rid of the little pinholes and stuff. I noticed that. It sure does, Don. I learned that. I was like, I pushed the car back in to the shop a little bit so that it wasn't in the direct sunlight, so I had enough time to spread it on there. But I mean, it went from 5 minutes to like three, like that. I was like, oh well, yeah. I can only imagine, Kevin. I was like I said, I cut the roof with the 180, and I forgot there's a spot up on the roof. They must have had a siren or something up there. I made a video about it like almost 2 years ago. I completely forgot about it till I was up there sanding. So at some point later on, I'll put a little bit of that fiberall light over there to make sure that it's not going to leak through. I'll break in a little better with the sander so I can see if they use bondo or if they use fiberglass there, just to make sure. And we'll definitely fiberglass that area. And there's one ding over on the passenger side, but I'm not worried about any of that right now. Like I said, the deck lid is a mess, but I'm just gonna hit it with the sealer for right now. We'll worry about that come winter. It's peaceful, Don, ain't it? It's like I don't hate it, but it's like when I feel like I'm under the gun. If I wasn't under the, and I'm not, I don't have to go to the show. I want to go. It's my favorite one. I'm not going to win anything up there. it's like, I don't want to say it's fixed, but it seems like the guys, there's a tight knit group up there, and they kind of give each other trophies. I think that's what's. I can't say for sure, but I don't care. I like going up there because I could walk home if I go up there and I have like 3 or 4 beers. I just come home and I'll go get the car after I take a nap. I mean, it's literally right up the top of the street. And all the cool guys are there. Like the one guy, he's local. He's involved in all the local politics and stuff, and he runs a lot of these car shows. I like him, and I like the group of guys he hangs out with.
Mark says you're missing a good show in York.
Who?
Mark. A good show at York, PA. It is the NSRA. Spent the day with my brother and his gasser. Great weather and lots of cars.
Huh. I'll have to look in. I'll have to look in it. I didn't know about it more. I couldn't have went today. Now next, the 8th, June 8th, there's a car show at the Cecil County Dragway, and I don't know that I will drag race the car. I might go down there only because the East Coast Gassers are going to be there. So I might. It's like it's $100 if you want to race, and it's $20 for the show. So I might just go down to the show because it's like if I break the car, I ain't. How am I going to get home? I don't have a trailer, so I ain't trailer in the car. If I go down there, I'm driving down there. So that's my thinking anyway. I could just see it now. I get in there and I go down the track 2 or 3 times and start having a little too much fun. Next thing you know, I break something. Now I gotta pay to have the car towed home. I don't want to get into all that. I don't even know that I'll go, but it sounds like I may. Yeah, it'll be cool. There's another one in July too. Same deal. What's going on, Henry? Brake fluid. Is it coming out of hose? Is your calipers leaking? Time gets that stuff, buddy. The rubber seals don't hold up like they used to. If it's your uh, what are they? Wheel cylinders. The lines rot. Probably would be Tracy. Probably. We'll see. Like I said, I'll debate it. I don't even know. I'm planning on going, but we'll see. I got to start cutting up that Nova. I mean, I was looking at that today whenever I was sanding, and I have to put some. I got to get some uh, etch primer. I think tomorrow I might just jump under there and sand a couple areas before it starts surface rusting too much. So and just walk over there with the gun and hit it with that epoxy sealer in them spots. I think that's what I'm going to do.
He borrowed his friend's trailer, right, to get the 55 home, Brian?
Yes, my buddy Guy, he has a trailer he lets me use, but I know he's out with a back injury right now, and
That's a good thing, Kevin. You made it in time.
oh no, hon, I got the 55 home. I rented a U-Haul trailer. I
Oh,
brought I brought the 55 home with a U-Haul trailer, but when we took it up to Pottstown, that's whenever I borrowed Guys, and I borrowed Guys to bring the Nova home. uh,
do you have to work overtime on that one, Kevin?
that makes sense, Don, and that's probably what I'll end up doing. Is I have I have that high build primer. I got about a half a gallon of it out there. I used the Rust-Oleum can stuff just because it was such a small area around the tail light today. I don't think I'm going to use that stuff anymore. It clogs the paper something awful. It looks so nice after you put it in 180, but you go through a lot of paper because it just the paper clogs right up. And the other thing I didn't like about it, I put some of that spot putty on there, and it almost like it reactivated the primer, and I did not like that. So that'll probably be my last time using that stuff. But it's nice because you don't have to dirty the gun up, and like tomorrow, I got to dirty the gun up, but it is what it is.
4 days straight, Kevin. That's a lot of overtime.
Oh,
I guess you got do what you got to do when you got to get it done, right?
yeah. That the drag strip, Chris, is probably 40 minutes from us, so it'd probably be about a $250, $300 tow if I had to get the car pulled home.
Listen to Don because I don't want to listen to your crying tomorrow. You make a mess.
About what?
He said it's not good to do body work with. Again, I think he's talking about the spray gun. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, Don. I have decent fill. I have that stuff I put on the on the front tilt nose. I got that black high build, and it's pretty nice stuff. Like I said, I had a couple cans of that high build, so I tried it. I won't use it again. It does say, I gotta say, it feels like glass after you've sanded it, though. It really does. But I just don't trust the makeup of it. After I put that spot putty on there for a couple scratches, it seemed like it almost like it reactivated the primer. I did not like it. Maybe I didn't let the primer set up enough. I don't know. Right on, brother. That makes sense, Tracy. I When I did the dashing around the windows, I used a real high end epoxy primer, the DuPont. One of the guys I was talking to, I met him here on YouTube. He's building a 55, and he has his own body shop. He's down in Maryland, and he told me he said get the DuPont epoxy primer, and he said as soon as it flashes off, you can spray your hot rod black, and it worked great, man. I did exactly what he said, and it worked. I hit it with the DuPont's epoxy primer. As soon as that stuff flashed off, I hit it with the hot rod black, and it came up nice. I'm learning as I go. See little tips like that, Tracy. That'll help me. Try to stay in the same family with the chemicals. A lot of people do that, Torp. If you take your time, there was a system, and I saw, gosh, it's been a few years, where guys were getting Rust-Oleum in a gallon can, and they would thin it out and add. They would thin it out, reduce it, put a little extra hardener in it, stir it up, and then it was really thin, and they were painting it with foam brushes, and the first 2 or 3 coats looked terrible, but they'd put like 6, 7 coats on there, and then after it would dry, they would wet sand it and buff it, and it looked great. And they didn't spray it; they used a foam brush. Have any of you guys ever seen anybody do that? I figure I better learn how to use a spray gun, but I was looking at that. I was like, man, there's guys actually painting cars with the foam paintbrushes and then sanding them.
Marshall,
listen to one and it's convoluted. it's I think it's the exact same product one, but okay. I have roll-on primer, Kenny. I have epoxy roll-on primer. I'm using it on the Nova. I got about a half a gallon of it left. I got it from Eastwood. It works really good. The problem is, it's like when I put it on the deck lid, it was still a little cold, and I put it on too heavy, so I got big runs. But guess what? It cuts with sandpaper, so it'll be fine. That's what I got on the hood and on the deck lid of the Nova right now. Yeah,
it's time.
is it? Did you
It's
text
bath
me it?
time.
All right. We take a look here. Okay. All right. So we got a sticker, we got a magnet, and we got the last of the truck stickers that we're giving away. Number between 1 and 50, 1 and 50 for the stickers and the magnet. Go. There it is, Kevin L.
Coming out.
Kevin L right away. You guys will see Kim texted me the number 14, because she's over on the couch. She's not feeling well. She got her microphone over there. All right. I don't let the clock do its thing. There we go.
That's loud.
There we go. That's really loud, isn't it? So let me see here. So Kevin, how I haven't sent you anything in a while. The number 14. I'm glad Henry's back so we can start keeping track of that stuff again. Let's all have a sip. Kev won. I don't think I sent you anything in a while, Kevin. You guys are going to have radio silence for a second. Kim will entertain you. I don't want her to get up.
Kevin, are you still losing weight? You might need to send Kevin a new shirt. Do we have any shirts left?
I don't know.
PPSS. Don just woke up from a nap.
I didn't want Kim to have to get up today because she's not feeling well.
I'm trying to keep the dogs entertained too.
I know what you're trying to do. What's going on, Rick? It is slow. I told her. It's loud too. I wish I could put it on time, but it won't. If I put it on time over the course of a couple weeks, it loses time. I think what I have to do is lower that pendulum just a scotch, and then it'd probably be all right. Uh-oh. Sounds like one's team got a score. What did you wait a You're having trouble out of one of yours. What, clock? Keeping it on time? I was telling Kim, I feel weird when I call out, but I never call out. Especially because I have a vacation day Monday, but I really needed it.
You didn't do anything Monday. We sat in here and listened to the 500 countdown on the radio.
Yeah, Kim and I, we did, and didn't we have a nice? And I did go out as soon as it was done, hon. We had a nice time, didn't we?
Yeah. What was number one?
Oh, they had it all messed up. Our 500 Memorial Day 500 Classic Countdown. Number one was the Rolling Stones this year. The
Yeah.
Sympathy for the Devil. I couldn't believe it. Like number Stairway to Heaven and Freebird are usually 1 and 2. They were like 6 and 7 this year. What was number 2, Kim? We were both in shock.
Unchained by Van Halen.
Unchained by Van Halen was number 2, and number 3 was uh, what was it, Kim?
I forget 3. 4 was Heart, right? Oh, it was Nirvana.
Nirvana was not. I couldn't believe. But you know, and I told Kim, it's like the new next generation's listening to that, and they have been sprinkling in the new classics with the old classics. So it's kind of like, it's a mix match now. It's not the same. For years, it was always, Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin battling it out at the top, but not anymore.
Bohemian Rhapsody was 22.
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody was in the 20s. It should be lower. And Kim even said it should be in the top 5. Our top 5. But
Country and Western, right? PPSS.
yeah, I mean, we listen to everything. I have to listen to some pop music when I'm in the car with Kim.
I agree with you, Don. They play the same songs over and over.
Yeah. And Don, they actually should run more. They should have weekend 500s or something like that, and they'd probably do better because we didn't even have the TV on. We listened to the top 500 countdown all weekend. And the radio would probably do better if they had more events like that. I guess it would be
I
less
picked the
less
dog up, so I took
special,
it
but
off. I forgot to put it back on.
they could do a top 100 or something.
Thanks, PPSS.
Oh yeah, Casey Kasem, coast to coast.
I'm 80s too, Chris. I like 80s.
I like the 80s music too. It's like all the hair bands and all that stuff. We all grew up on that stuff. Oh, that's cool. Thanks. My brother's bringing them down on bringing the plaques down Sunday morning because he wants me to put them on the car when we take it up. Yeah, that was a fun day. I forgot I won too. I thought I knew I won the best first in show, but I forgot I won the other one too. You know, I felt kind of weird. It was like there was only like, I don't know, 40 cars, and like there was only 10 classics, 12 classics, but it is what it is. There was a I thought that Porsche was going to win. There was an electric K&M, what do they call K&M Porsche? I thought that thing was going to win everything. That was like a $250,000 car. But I guess money can't win everything. Yeah, you're right, Artos. I forgot they do have it on. They have it on 4th of July too, hon.
I don't know.
We'll have to check. We'll have to check. Just try to keep track of what the top 100 is anyway.
They have that. They have it listed on the website.
Yeah, I guess they would have it pre-scheduled, huh?
You're supposed to be able to vote on it.
Daniel, you're probably right. I mean, some of the like the I like them with I'm not like a crazy sports car guy, but I wouldn't mind if I had a ton of money to have one with the high spoiler in the back. They always show it to me on Facebook. They always show me the 250, $300,000 cars. I don't know why. I'm not buying one. I'd have to hit the lottery. But man, I look at that car in the stance with that big high uh, spoiler on the back. I'm like, man, I could get in trouble in that. I'd probably drive that slow too. I I don't get Kim always laughs at me because I do. I don't drive fast on the road, even in the gasser. I will cycle the gears really fast. I'll get to the speed limit in a very big hurry and maybe even exceed it a couple miles an hour briefly, but not on the road. Now on the track, I'll probably break something because it's only me. I'm not worried about hurting anybody at that point. I don't know about me, one. I learn something new every week from you guys. I just kind of look at Tracy's name, winging it with Tracy. I wing it with everything. I just I just start doing it. And if I don't know how to do it, I look up a video. Oh, I'm a pro now.
Oh, that's cool, Kevin. Kevin's going to Meekum.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
That's like what next week, Kevin?
They say, what is it, Kevin? Day one, and then like the last day at the end, you can really get a nice deal on a car. That's my my high school friend from around here, Brent. He goes to those things. He went there to get a Cobra kit car, and he got it, but he ended up coming home with like a Duster because he couldn't pass up the price, and he just flipped it. He just bought it to flip, but he was like, for what he bid on the car and got, he couldn't believe it. So, but he just bought it to flip. I think he already flipped it. Think it was like a 72. It might have been a Demon. It was either a Duster or a Demon. Same thing, right? Right. Maybe it is the last. I know the first few is as well. You can sometimes get a deal. I would imagine, when you're on the inside, Don, you get the nice stuff. You get first dibs.
Well, that sounds like fun, Randy.
I guess you got to make sure. Like, look what happened to Dan. He doesn't fit in his Camaro, so he ended up selling it. Now the Gen 2s have a lot more room, but those doors are huge, because I remember I had a ton of room in my Z28.
Hey, Mr. 55.
Hey, Mr. 55, what's going on? What was your old YouTube channel? So did I know? Chris, that happens. Uh, let's go over there and take a look real quick, I guess. Oh, let me see here. Is it Mr. or Mrs. 55? Let me see. I don't see it. I'll have to look after the show, bud. I don't see it.
Used to be Daytona Z channel.
All right. Daytona Z. All right.
Wow, that's great, Don.
Steve, as it pertains to what, Don? I must have missed something.
Maganate.
What is that? Who raised 300,000 and for what, Don? I'm missing something. Either that or I can't think of it. Well, I know that I had pro car seats for the 55, but I got the ones that hold you in, and they're really low. And I even made my brackets even lower to the ground. I mean, they're right against the floor. Mm. That is a killer truck, Lonnie. I didn't even look. I didn't know it was how I didn't know how long it took me to respond, but I was opening because I open my email sometimes once or twice a week. I used to have Kim used to do it for me, but she hardly ever gets on the computer anymore. So I'm starting to check my emails. Like I said, I haven't seen Give Blood in a couple weeks. I think he was mad at me because I didn't see his email for like a week. And I answered him. I'm like, you still want me to call? Because he asked me to call, and I didn't want to call him out of the blue like a week and a half later. But he sent me an email and he gave me his number. It was about when we were talking about VIN numbers. He felt bad or something. I can't remember, but I hope he's not mad. Okay, I see. I didn't know that, Don. But I'm glad his people come through. Okay, all right, Robbie. See, I didn't know. That's pretty cool.
You go, Robbie.
All right, I'll send some your way, Kenny. Hope your dad's all right. I do too, Randy. It's that little Peo, that Nissan Peo car. I thought it was a left-hand drive too. I thought that was a really cool car. If I seen one that was like all beat up, I'd move the steering wheel to the driver's side and gas her it. You're welcome, buddy. I think we talked about that last week. But I like all cars too. And if it's neat, I'll look at it. It's like that's what my brother asked me earlier on the phone. He's like, "Well, you're gonna have the car ready for Sunday?" I'm putting tail lights in it. If I have to put them in Sunday morning, I don't care what the condition. I'm taking the car. I told myself I'm not going to take it too far apart so that I can still use it. I'll worry about making it better in the off seasons and stuff, and just chip at it. Hey, Gordon Walker made it. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. I know you like your coffee. Take a sip. I actually had a coffee about an hour before the live just so I could keep my eyes open. Hey, Robbie, you can make anything cool.
I'm gonna have to start looking and see what I can find.
For what, hun?
A car. And then I'll go make you buy it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Well, what are you going to get?
I don't know,
You better
something.
think of something.
The Nova will be done someday.
It will. It's like here's the thing. I buy the worst cars. I can't help it. I just do. And the Nova's really, really bad. It's going to get fixed, but it's going to take a while. And I don't want a piece of crap, rusted. And I probably should have done a better job vetting the car. But I had drove that far and I laid around in the mud and looked at what I could, and I'm like, just buy it. It wasn't a ton of money. And hindsight 2020, I probably shouldn't have. But it is what I have it now. I have most of the sheet metal. I have some of it in, but like I said, I saw a little bit of surface rust yesterday where I just put parts in, and I'm just going to scuff it off. And when I have the paint mixed, I'm going to just walk over to the Nova and I'm going to shoot the areas that have exposed metal so that I don't get a bunch of surface rust in there.
It should be cool when it's done, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good car. Just like listen, the 55 was just as bad. Look at all the new sheet metal on the 55. It's got a new firewall, new floor, new trunk, new inside quarters, outside quarters. I even changed the package tray. I probably should have just body worked that, hindsight 2020, but I changed it. you know, so I don't want rusted out stuff. But it'll last my lifetime, and when I'm done the Nova, it'll last my lifetime. And then somebody else can do something with it. Yeah, I should probably do that, but I was thinking I could just hit it with epoxy for right now because that's what I'm going to have in the gun, Ron. Well, thanks, Kenny. It's like it's fun to drive. I also dislike rust, and I try to get it out. That's what I said. I was looking at. I already put those pans in the Nova, but then I like I told you guys last week. The patch is $179 for behind the seat, and it's gone there. And then it's $80 a piece for the spring pockets. So right there, I'm almost at $400, and a complete new floor is $450. Now, obviously, I'm gonna have to pay 125 or so for shipping, but At that, I'm just going to cut the floor out and change the floor at that point, and that way I don't have a bunch of weld seams and everything else. That's in fact, that's probably the next thing I'm going to do is after I get the 55 back in epoxy, I'm just going to use it for a little bit, and I'll jump back over on the Nova. Yeah, I could probably get a couple spray bombs. Maybe I will do that then, Ron. Maybe I'll just order some self-etching Napa primer. If it's in a spray can, sure.
One's issuing ultimatums.
I thought you were talking about mix it yourself primer.
Hey, Upward Tinker.
Yeah, I mean, yours will go quick if you wanted to sell it. If I had room, I'd just come get it, Rick. But I don't have room. If my stupid son would clean out his garage, I'd rent the space from him. So, but I even told Kim, I said I'd probably go get that thing if I had room. I don't
He
have
did
room.
tell me that too.
Because I really feel like I want to do the Nova and get it done. And I really feel like I want to do another Tri 5, whether I do another 55 or I do a 57 maybe. I kind of like the 57s. I'm going to do another one because I know where everything is and how to do it. And I actually have, connections. I got Jay, he's slowing way down as far as he's trying to cut down his shop and stuff, but I mean, he still can get anything. So if you need something, Jay can. If he don't have it, he knows who has it. I mean, and and I formed a pretty good relationship with the Real Deal Steel, Joe Whitaker. I got all my metal from him, and he explained stuff to me, and uh, you know, uh, I don't think I'd gas her the next one. I think I would just do a regular suspension on it, but you know, we'll see. If the deal's right, I'll do another gasser. All right, take it easy, Tellus. Thanks for coming in, Mr. Swamp Thing. I, you know, I'm just not in that price hemisphere right now, Rand. Nomad, and it's not that I couldn't afford to go get one. I could, but the parts would just because I get things slow and I trickle it in, and that way I get the nice stuff. But like the gasser, I got the Tinberg Nicky front on there, and I saved up for that. And it's like I could have stubbed it. I mean, it's just a frame. You could build the frame, but I didn't know where to set the spindles and all that stuff. So I bought one and I did it the safe way. I felt the safe way. Somebody else that's already done it. All I got to do is weld the stub in. I'll do it.
I was just talking to Brian about a Mustang the other day, but I was talking about a 70s Mustang.
Kim's like a rarity with she likes the 72s, and they're cool. The 70s, the 72s. A 351 Cleveland is a nice.
Hi,
They they,
John.
they were dogs by the time it was
Hi, John.
72.
Hi,
They only
Mark.
put two barrels on a 351 Cleveland. It's like a 200 horsepower V8. They could have, but they're
Thanks,
cool. They're all
PPSS.
right.
It's a Ford. I know it's a Ford, but I still like it.
Yeah. I tell you, Chris, I like all cutlasses, but if I had my choice, I'd want like
Thanks,
a
Chaz. Good
70
luck on your
Supreme,
Suburban.
70, 72, 70 through 72 Supreme. They're one of my favorite cars. Guy back home had a blue one, and it was a convertible with a white top. That car was
Bye, Randy.
gorgeous. Take it easy, Randy. Have a great weekend, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Oh my goodness, we got 40 seconds left. I didn't
Bye,
realize it
Kevin.
was so late.
Thanks.
I was having so much fun talking to everybody. I didn't realize that we were running this far behind. I hope everybody had fun tonight. I sure did. It just went like that. I didn't even realize. So, Kevin, I'll get these stickers in the mail. I hope you
Thanks,
guys all
Kenny.
have a great
Good luck
weekend.
with your dad.
And I'll be pulling for your dad, Kenny. I appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out with us tonight. All right. All right. So, till next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Yes, Robbie.